Are you getting this variance between who you really are, who life has caused you to become, and who you're being right here and now? Do you get it, that when your life has asked you to ask for more money over and over and over again, and there is a veritable fortune amassed for you in your vibrational escrow? Do you get it, that when you're complaining about money, that knot in your stomach is because this very attention that you are giving has you out of alignment with the very fortune that you're asking for? Do you get that? So if you accept that, if you can feel that the emotion that you feel is this precise and perfect, accurate indicator of your point of attraction, then you can begin to do something about it. So let's say that you want something, but you've got this habit of conversation. You've been telling a story for a long time, and everybody around you likes the story you've been telling because it's the same story they tell. So you get together and you tell this story, and it's a story that always feels like complaining when you tell it, but you've got so many clever antidotes now that you've added to it that it's really hard to let it go. So you keep telling the story and telling the story and telling the story and telling the story and telling the story until it becomes a really active vibration within you. What we would call a dominant vibration. You would call it a belief. A belief's just a thought that you keep thinking, but we're wanting you to start thinking in terms of being vibrational beings. So it's just an active vibration. Now, every thought that you've ever thought is potentially active, but every thought you've ever thought is not active. And only if you feel emotion around it is it active enough to be a player in your point of attraction. So those old things that you're not feeling any emotion about, they're not big players. They were active at one time, they no longer are. They're not part of what's calling things to you now. So let's say that you feel often your discouragement about money. The discouragement is an indicator of the vibrational variance between the fortune that's waiting for you and your thoughts of holding yourself apart from it. We really liked that choice of words, did you? The feeling of discouragement is such a lovely indicator of the vibrational variance between the fortune that is amassed with your name on it and your current stance or habit of thought, which is holding you away from it. So you feel this negative emotion, but you don't know what it means. So you don't do anything. You don't know that it's guidance saying this thought is going to hold you right where you are apart from what you want. You think it's just negative emotion, and you've learned to accept it because after all, life is hard, yes? So you allow the negative emotion within you and you don't do anything about it. And we say, don't worry, it will get bigger, because the source energy part of you consistently calls you. And not only that, every time you have a life experience which causes you to ask for more, the stream moves faster and faster and faster. But when you beat the drum of those old habitual thoughts and you don't let yourself be a vibrational match or even move in the direction of what you want, you get tenser and tenser. That's why we say, don't worry, it will get bigger. The stream moves faster, you're going to feel more negative emotion. And the interesting thing is that the more you live life and the more you hold to your old beliefs, the more life causes you to put more speed in your river. And so the more those old beliefs are hard on you. So don't worry, it will get bigger. So then there is a manifestation. Something big shows up in your life as a result of this tension. Could be a bankruptcy, that's on the subject of money, but it could be a physical breakdown, which is also on the subject of resistance. So whatever it is, it got bigger. And now you have a manifestation. Ooh, a real life manifestation. A diagnosis in your body or something. And what we want to say to you in a way that you will really, really hear it, know it, feel it, and benefit from it is that manifestation, big, bad, and awful as it may seem to be, is only an indication of vibration, period. It's not a death sentence. It's not a proclamation of how good you are or bad you are. It is not anything more than just the extension of indicator of how you've been offering your vibration. You don't go to the gas station with your indicator on your gas gauge on empty and have a sort of emotional meltdown, putting your head on the steering wheel. I had so hoped for more. It's just an indication. You don't say to the man, I just bought this car yesterday and I've loved it so much. It cost $85,000, but it's over. Instead, you fill up the tank, you say. And that's what we're saying to you. The indication, even if it is someone has diagnosed you with a terminal illness, or even if your heart is broken because someone that you adore is not with you for whatever reason, as you stand in your now with this manifestation, just know that this manifestation is only an indication of vibration. Then stop and dissect it just a little bit. And here's the way we would do it. We would look at the manifestation and we would feel the way we are feeling within it. And then we would say, this feels like this, and we would describe it. And then we would ask ourselves, is that a familiar emotion? And as you realize, oh, how familiar that emotion is, I feel that way here and here and here and here and here, then you will show yourself. You had indicators, you didn't do anything about it. You had indicators, you didn't do anything about it. You had indicators, you didn't do anything about it. Now you've got another indicator. And usually now you've got this manifestation. Now you're willing to do something about it. And we think it's lovely. We call it post-manifestational awareness. And really, friends, and we don't mean to mock you at all with that. Of course, it is lovely when you get so in sync with your emotions that you can feel when you're not letting yourself go be who you really are. It is such a wonderful thing when you recognize that you could find a thought that feels a little better. And in doing so, you could release the resistance. It's a wonderful thing when you recognize that. But what we really want to say is, so what? So what if you missed those clues? So what if you didn't remember? So what if you were born into a family who didn't encourage you to be emotional? So what if nobody cared how you felt and they just sort of run roughshod over the top of you and forced you to do things that you didn't want to do? So what if there are things in your life that are not the way you want them to be? So what? Here you stand with the potential of offering a vibration that law of attraction will match. So what has been doesn't mean diddly squat, and what is doesn't either. What is does not matter. It's only an indication of vibration. That's all it is. It is only an indication of vibration. And since you have the power to change your vibration right now, right now, right now. So can you change your vibration from one of sickness to one of wellness right now? No, not really. But you can move in the direction of it little by little by little by little by little. The knowing of your empowerment feels very different than the disempowerment of fear around an illness. And you're not going to make that jump all at once. But you don't have to. Even if it has manifested into something that is big, bad, and awful in your body, you still don't have to do it immediately. You have plenty of time. It doesn't take that long, a day or two or three or four, even if it takes a month. When you know what you're doing, when you know what you're reaching for, when you know why you feel what you feel, when you know what your emotions are, when you know that they're just playing off the two parts of you, and when you know that this part of you, this bigger part of you, this longer living eternal part of you, this part of you that law of attraction has been responding to much more powerfully than this part of you, this part of you is fabulously well and fabulously clear and fabulously vital and fabulously wealthy, fabulously everything that you want to be. And when you know that, and you start listening for the call that's calling you toward it, and you stop doing those things you do that don't let you go toward it, you begin to gradually and consistently close the gap. As Jerry and Esther are traveling from Phoenix to San Diego, they don't get out there in the middle of the desert and argue with each other about whose fault it is that they're not there yet. And even though all those miles across the desert, they're not where they really want to be, they're not unhappy in the moving along, because there's plenty of wonderful things to experience along the way, and they know they're going to get there. And that's the thing that is not present within so many of you relative to your journey from sickness to wellness. You're not joyful along the way because you keep taking score. You keep demanding that you be there now, be there now. Give me a drug, give me a surgery, give me something that gives me instant manifestation. And we say, it doesn't work that way. You've got to stop demanding that circumstances around you change so that you can have a better feeling response. And you've got to begin evoking within yourself a better feeling response, which will then be the indication that you've changed the vibration, and then the circumstances must change. It is law. Jerry and Esther went whitewater rafting last summer, and it was such a great day. And the first thing the river guide said to them was, friends, this is not Disneyland, and we cannot turn this river off. And we're saying the same thing to you. This is not Disneyland, and you can't turn off the stream, the river, the raging river that you set into motion even before you got here into this physical body, and that you've added to the power of immensely since you got here. You can't make the river go slower because you can't unbecome. You cannot slow the river down, but you can control your position in the river. And that's what your emotions are telling you. When you feel bad, you're upstream. When you feel good, you're downstream. You're pointed in the direction of the current. You know the difference, don't you? You know the difference between going with the flow and bucking the current. Your emotions are telling you just that. So when you come to remember that, then you can begin to put your boat in the river wherever it is. Doesn't matter. You might be putting it in at hopefulness. You might be putting it in at discouragement. You might be putting your boat in the river at depression or fear. You might be putting your boat in the river at appreciation. It doesn't matter where you're putting your boat in the river. This is the most powerful thing that you will ever hear from anyone. You are where you are. You are where you are. You in your physical body, magnificent being that you are where you are right now in relationship to a whole lot of things. You are living right now the culmination of the vibrations that you've been offering, and your life right now is the indication of your vibration. You are where you are. But the vibration can be changed, and it can be changed today. And when the vibration changes, where you are has to change too. You see? That's why where you are doesn't mean diddly squat. It's just where you are. You're putting your boat in the river, but the river is moving. And downstream are all of the things that you want. Getting the picture of this? We see our advantage to you in helping you to let go of those oars, in helping you to lighten up, and showing you how to make peace with where you are, in helping you through process after process to release the resistance, which is only a habit of thought, which is the only thing that's keeping you from all of the things that you want. The day that Jerry and Esther were on the river, can you imagine them saying to the guide, well, it seems that we'll be on the river all day if we just float with all of you. We'd like to take our boat out and put it back on the bus and drive it down the canyon. And we'll put it in the river about 50 yards from where we're going to take it out, because we like instant manifestation. And he would say, you know, it's the ride on the river that you came for, not the destination. And that's the thing that we want to say to all of you. You didn't come here to get things done. You didn't come here to prove things. You didn't come here to identify manifestations and then to go directly to them. You came here for life to give you objects of attention to which you were to turn your attention so that you could have a frolicking, good feeling ride on the river. When you go on vacation, you say, well, here I'm at home and I'm going to here, all of these lovely cities, and then I'll come back home. You never look at that and say, wait, I'm already home. Why go? Seems to me I've already completed this vacation. I will check it off my list. You don't go on the vacation to get it done. You go for the experience of it, for the stimulation of it, for the feeling of it. You go for the fun of it, for the opportunity of it. And that's what every one of your desires is right now. It is the point of attention that gives you the reason to frolic on the river. We want you to get the sense that in the absence of things that you have identified as goals that you want, there still can be frolicking. And when you learn to frolic before the manifestation, that is our wish for you. Frolic before the manifestation. Frolic on your way to the manifestation. Frolic because frolicking is natural to you. Then what happens is the manifestations come faster. Later we'll hold seminars on demanifestation. The manifestations come faster. But the most important thing is you feel good along the way. we're not encouraging you thoughts that feel better because we want you to return to something that was before. We want you to find thoughts that feel better so that you can return to who you are, and so that you can return to what's in your vibrational escrow, so that you can return to the becoming of who you have become. In other words, we want you to line up with you.